For thousands of years, the Mediterranean was the center of the known world. Great civilizations rose and fell along its shores: Egypt, Greece, Rome. But hidden between these giants was another power, a civilization of sailors, traders, and explorers. A people who built an empire not with armies at first, but with ships. This was Carthage. From humble beginnings as a small Phoenician colony, Carthage would grow into one of the richest and most powerful cities of the ancient world. It would challenge Rome itself and nearly change the course of history. This is the story of merchants, conquerors, and a struggle that shaped the destiny of the Mediterranean. Welcome to the rise and fall of Carthage. Long before Carthage existed, there were the Phoenicians. Living along the narrow coastline of what is now Lebanon, the Phoenicians were masters of the sea. Unlike empires built on farmland and soldiers, their power came from trade. They built fast, sturdy ships and sailed farther than almost anyone before them. They carried purple dye, glass, cedar wood, and precious metals across the ancient world. And perhaps their greatest gift to history? The alphabet. The writing system they developed became the foundation for Greek, Latin, and eventually most modern languages. But as their homeland came under pressure from powerful empires like Assyria and Babylon, the Phoenicians began looking outward. Across the sea, the Phoenicians were fearless explorers. They established trading posts from Cyprus to Spain, from Sicily to North Africa. Ancient sources even claim they sailed beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, possibly reaching Britain and West Africa. Unlike conquerors who marched with armies, Phoenician sailors arrived with goods and opportunities. Where they found safe harbors, they built colonies, and one of those colonies would become the greatest of them all. Legend tells the story of Queen Dido, a Phoenician princess fleeing political turmoil in Tyre. She crossed the sea and arrived on the shores of North Africa. There, she founded a city, Carthage. According to myth, local rulers offered her only as much land as could be covered by an ox hide. So she cut the hide into thin strips and surrounded an entire hill. Cleverness would define Carthage from the very beginning. Founded around the 9th century BCE, the city quickly grew from a small settlement into a thriving port. Strategically located between the eastern and western Mediterranean, it was perfectly positioned to control trade. And over time, Carthage became more than a colony. It became an empire. Carthage was not built like the warrior cities of Greece or Rome. It was a merchant republic. Power rested with wealthy trading families rather than kings. The streets were filled with artisans, sailors, bankers, and craftsmen. Markets overflowed with goods from across the known world. Gold from Africa, tin from Britain, spices from the East, and wine from Greece. Carthaginian society valued business, diplomacy, and innovation. Their navy was among the most advanced of its time. Their harbors were engineering marvels, and their wealth was legendary. At its height, Carthage was one of the largest cities on Earth. Its famous circular military harbor could hold hundreds of warships. Massive walls protected grand temples, public baths, and crowded neighborhoods. Unlike many ancient cities, Carthage had a complex government with elected officials, councils, and judges. It was a republic, long before Rome became one. But wealth and power would bring enemies. And the greatest rival of all was rising across the sea. Sicily sat at the crossroads of the Mediterranean. Both Carthage and the Greek city-states wanted control of it. For centuries, Carthage fought brutal wars against Greek powers like Syracuse. These conflicts shaped Carthaginian military traditions. They relied heavily on mercenary armies hired soldiers from Africa, Spain, and Gaul. This gave Carthage flexibility. But it also created dangers, because mercenaries fight for money, not loyalty. Still, Carthage emerged as the dominant power of the Western Mediterranean, until a new challenger appeared. One of the most controversial aspects of Carthaginian history involves religion. Ancient Roman and Greek writers claimed that Carthaginians practiced child sacrifice to their gods. especially Balhaman and Tanit. Archaeologists have found burial sites called tophets, containing urns with the remains of infants. Was this ritual sacrifice, or simply burial grounds for children who died young? Historians still debate the truth. What is certain is that these stories became powerful propaganda used by Carthage's enemies, especially Rome. By the 3rd century BCE, two great powers dominated the Western Mediterranean: Carthage, the master of the sea, and Rome, the rising power of Italy. Neither wanted war, but neither was willing to step aside. Sicily became the spark, and in 264 BCE, the First Punic War began. Punic was the Roman word for Phoenician. For more than 20 years, Rome and Carthage fought on land and sea. Despite their naval experience, Carthage was eventually defeated. Rome, learning quickly, built massive fleets and adapted Carthaginian tactics. In 241 BCE, Carthage was forced to surrender Sicily and pay huge reparations. The loss was devastating. Even worse, unpaid mercenaries revolted, nearly destroying Carthage from within. But Carthage survived, and it found a new path to power in Spain. From this moment, one man would come to define Carthage's destiny: Hannibal Barca. Brilliant, fearless, and relentless, Hannibal grew up hating Rome. His father made him swear an oath as a child to be Rome's eternal enemy, and he kept that promise. From Spain, Hannibal built a powerful new army. Then he planned one of the boldest military campaigns in history. In 218 BCE, Hannibal did the unthinkable. Instead of fighting Rome at sea, he marched his army across Europe, through Spain, across southern France, and over the Alps with war elephants. He invaded Italy itself. For over a decade, Hannibal crushed Roman armies again and again. At Cannae, he inflicted one of the worst defeats in Roman history. Rome seemed on the brink of destruction, yet somehow it refused to fall. While Hannibal fought in Italy, Rome changed strategy. They attacked Carthage directly. The Roman general Scipio Africanus invaded North Africa, forcing Hannibal to return home. At the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, Carthage was finally defeated. The Second Punic War ended. Carthage lost its empire, its navy, and its independence, but the city still stood. For now, decades passed. Carthage rebuilt its wealth through trade. But Rome never forgave and never forgot. Roman leaders like Cato the Elder ended every speech with the same words: Carthage must be destroyed. In 149 BCE, Rome declared war one last time. The Third Punic War had begun. After a brutal 3-year siege, Roman forces stormed the city. Street by street, house by house, Carthage was destroyed. In 146 BCE, one of the greatest cities of the ancient world was erased. Its people were killed or enslaved, its buildings torn down, its empire gone forever. Rome emerged as the unchallenged master of the Mediterranean. But Carthage was never truly forgotten. Its sailors mapped the ancient world. Its merchants connected continents. Its rivalry with Rome shaped history itself. Even in defeat, Carthage helped build the world that came after it. An empire of the sea, lost to time, but never to memory. The story of Carthage is a reminder that history is not only written by conquerors. Sometimes it is carried on the waves. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient history, like and subscribe for more stories from the past.